okay guys, let's start our discussion. So if we just recall our normal distribution, because for log normal distribution obviously you can relate the name log normal and normal. So that's why normal distribution would be required for my log normal distribution. So first let me put on the heading log normal distribution. Okay. Now if we recall the previous class where we discussed the normal distribution, what was it? My random variable was following normal mu comma sigma square, right? And in this case my expectation was its first parameter and my mean was its second parameter, right? Now if I define one more random variable, y is equal to log x, okay, y is equal to log x if I define. So I will say my y follows log normal with the similar pattern parameters, okay, or I can say log x will follow log normal mu comma sigma square only when my x is following the normal distribution, okay. Clear? Is this clear guys? I didn't do something extraordinary. What I just defined a new random variable y as log x, where x is my normal distribution, and simply then if my x is following a normal distribution and I define a new random variable as y is equal to log x, then my y would be following log normal distribution with the similar pattern parameters. Clear? But in this case my mean won't be equal to mu, it will be e raised to the power minus half, e raised to the power mu minus half sigma square, okay. This is my mean of log normal distribution, and variance is also not equal to sigma square, it is equal to e raised to the power 2 mu plus sigma square bracket e sigma square minus 1. So again you do not need to recall or memorize these mean and variances. Why? Because we have already been provided it in tables book, okay. Any doubt in this? Let me repeat again. If my x is following normal distribution with mu comma sigma square and I define a new random variable as y is equal to log x, then my y would be following log normal distribution with parameters similar to my normal distribution, okay. But the mean and variances would be different, they won't be equal to mu and sigma square, they would be equal to e mu minus half sigma square and e 2 mu plus sigma square bracket e sigma square minus 1, okay. Note it down, otherwise you are having this in tables book. Now again if I define the PDF of it, so if I define my PDF would be 1 upon x sigma 2 pi e minus half log x minus mu by sigma square, okay. And now can you see the difference in the range? For my normal distribution, what was the range of my normal distribution? Quickly give me in the chat box, what was my range in the normal distribution? Guys, what was my range for normal distribution? Yes, very good. It was minus infinity to positive infinity, but can you see in the log normal distribution my range has reduced, it is now from 0 to infinity. It means my normal distribution could take values, negative values and positive values as well, but my log normal distribution can only take positive values. Why so? Because log x, or I say log of something negative, is not defined, right. Log of something negative is not defined. That is why I have to restrict my range for this. normal distribution. For example, there is something which cannot take negative values, like if I say weights of the students, can the weight of students be negative? No, right? So it could be better modeled with log normal distribution as compared to my normal distribution. Clear? Again, this is not the scope of CS1 current chapter. So we would discuss it in later chapters when we are working on why log normal distribution is used. So it's the matter of fact to be discussed there. So now let's do a question. Your W is defined as W follows log normal 5 comma 6. You have to calculate probability W is greater than 3000. Let me do this question and I will give you a different question. How can I convert? I do not have tables book values of log normal distribution, right? I have the table book values of standard normal distribution. So first I will convert my log normal variable, random variable, to my normal variable. Then I will convert that normal variable into standard normal variable. Is that okay? First we will convert log normal to normal, then normal to standard normal, because at the end of the day we have standard normal values in my tables book. Clear, guys? So how do I do it? Let me take log both sides. I can say if I shift this log this side, so this now follows 5 comma 6, right? If I shift my log this side, I can say log W will follow my normal distribution. Clear? So I have defined my random variable, so I can say this follows my normal distribution, but still I have to, this is my normal distribution, so I will define this as y is equal to log W. So y will follow my. Now I need to convert it into standard normal. So for standardization, what was the process I told you guys? I need to subtract it from, I need to subtract my mean and I need to divide it by my variance, square root of variance basically. So use your calculator. Ln of 3000 minus 5 divided by under root of 6. So I get probability Z is greater than ln 3000 minus my mean divided by square root of my variance. Okay, so this comes out to be Z is greater than 1.22734. Are you getting this, guys? Now find the tables book value from find the value from tables book and give me the answer for this. Anyone having any doubt, please give me in the doubt portal. Quickly calculate this, I am waiting. Look, guys, for the calculator, you have this calculator. In the left side of your calculator, you have something in this format, right? So in this format, click on this. Then I need to put in whatever my fraction is. My fraction is ln of 3000 minus 5 by root 6. So now put in using this side. Now try. Now try and tell me if you are getting the same answer. Okay. Whenever we are having fractions, guys, you have the scientific calculator, okay? So you can use this, you can type the same thing in your calculator. So use that way, otherwise you will be getting stuck in the BODMAS rule. Okay, now try finding this from the tables book. Quickly. Since I have less less than values from my tables book, so I can write this z is less than 1227, right. Now looking at my tables book values, so it is giving me less than values, clear. I have standard normal distribution 1.227, so 1.227 lies between my 1.22 and 1.23, okay. So why we took z there? Because look, z is the standardized notation for my standard normal distribution. So we took z because we have the table book values only for standard normal distribution. That's why we needed to convert a log normal to normal first, then normal to standard normal first, okay. Now guys, look, I need to calculate something 227 which will approximately be equal to 1.23. So I will just take my value for 1.23, which is 0.89065. So I will take this as okay. So I get my final answer is, come on, give me the final answer, what is it? I get it as 0.1099 approx. Okay. Is this clear? If we are getting some distribution of log normal, first we have to convert it into normal, then we have to convert it into standard normal. Why? Reason is clear, because I only have standard normal distribution values in my tables book. Is this clear? So let's move forward. Another question you need to do is, if mean of log normal distribution is 9.97, if variance of log normal distribution is 635.61, you need to calculate mu and sigma square, which are basically its parameters. Okay. So again, I am helping you out in this question, but this is one of the type of question which is most expected in your exam. Okay. So this is star mark worthy question. You can expect such question in your exam. Okay. Now let's do it. What is the mean of log normal distribution? Check out the tables book. What is the mean of log normal distribution? It is e raised to the power mu plus half sigma square, and my mean is given out to be 9.97, right. This is my first equation. What is the equation of my variance? It is 2 mu plus sigma square bracket e sigma square minus 1, and this is given out to be equal to 635.61. This is my second equation. Now can I write this equation as e mu plus half sigma square and whole 2? What I did is I just took 2 common from this equation, and this thing remain as it is, correct. So I can write, if I have given EAB, I can write this thing as EB raised to the power A. Similarly, I can write E mu plus sigma square whole square, correct. And this is the mean of my log normal distribution. Check out this first equation. This is equal to 9.97. So I can write 9.97 whole square E sigma square minus 1 is equal to my 635.61. Clear? So E sigma square minus 1 becomes my 635.61. This comes in my denominator here. Okay, calculate this first. So I add 1 there. If I add my 1 there, I get my 7.39441. Simple thing. Taking log both sides. Once I take log, the log and e gets cancelled out, so I am left with sigma square. So my final answer is 2 2.00072 which is similar to 2. Is this okay? So my sigma square, that is my first parameter, sigma square is coming out to be 2. Now using this, put this same thing in my first equation. You will get the value of your mu. Clear? Come on, give me the value of mu now. Is this step clear? Any doubt in the process? Tell me. And give me the value of mu quickly. You just need to put this here. Come on, giving you 1 minute, quickly tell me the value of mu. Sure, look, what was I given? Firstly, I was given that my mean is equal to this, so I just simply use the formula of my mean and equate it to the value I have been given for the mean. Similarly, for my variance. Now, using the property, there is a property of E exponential, that if I have, not the property, I can say there is a basic property of exponents, is that if I have something into the power, and if I have something to the power of power, so it basically multiplies, right? So similarly, since I took my 2 common out here, so I am left with mu plus half sigma square, and since this 2 is in multiply with this, I can write this is whole to the power 2. Okay? Now this is similar to what was my first equation, so I just put in my value and square remains same. Similarly, this get in divide, I calculated the value using calculator, I am getting 7.39441. This minus 1 I added here, so I get this. I am left with this equation, right? Now I need to remove this E because I want sigma square. So basically I will take log both sides. Taking log both sides, this log and E cancels out. So I get with sigma square, and log of this is this, and this is similar to 2 only, because we have 3 decimal 0. If I round off to my 3 decimal places, I will be getting 2 only. Clear? Now I will put this sigma square value in my first equation, basically E mu plus half sigma square. So E mu plus half into 2, this is equal to 9.97. E mu plus 1 is equal to 9.97. Again I will take log both sides. So log of E mu plus 1 is equal to log of 9.97. Log and E cancels out, I get mu plus 1 is equal to log 9.97. Mu is basically my log 9.97 minus 1. Now calculate the value of mu. Is this clear now? Basically this minus 1 I took it here to plus 1 meter. If I write in another step, I just didn't wrote that step. E sigma square is equal to 6.39441 plus 1. If I calculate this, I will get 6.39441, and this minus 1 I calculated at plus 1. That is why it is coming out to be 7.39441. Quickly note it down, and then we will move forward to our next distribution, that is T distribution. Once it is done, write done in the chat room, guys. This log, basically I took log both sides. If I take log both sides, this ln log of E, ln and E basically cancel cancels out, so I am left with sigma square only. Okay. And if you put in the value in the calculator of log 7.3994, you will get 2.000 something. Okay, now let's now move forward to our t distribution. Note down the heading t distribution. It is also called student's t distribution. Okay. So, how is my parameter defined? If my z is following standard normal distribution, if my x is following chi-square nu distribution, then I define my random variable y is equal to z by under root x by nu, which will be following my t distribution with a parameter nu. Okay? Is this clear? Quickly note it down. Moving forward, guys, now. So yes, we were doing t distribution. So this is my t distribution. So let me redefine the variable. If my z is following standard normal distribution, if my x is following chi-square with degrees of freedom nu, then I can define a new random variable y as the final answer is 1.3. I define my y as z divided by, that is my standard normal variable divided by my chi-square variable divided by my degrees of freedom of chi-square variable, and I am taking a under root over it. So this will follow my t distribution with degrees of freedom nu. It means the chi-square variable I am using and the t distribution variable I am using, the degrees of freedom both the distribution are same. Okay, note this down quickly. T distribution is again not that much used at this point of time, but when we are moving to statistical test, then it is very much used. Okay. And since we are using the standard normal distribution here, so t distribution also is symmetrical around mean. Symmetrical around 0, because we are using standard normal distribution here, right? Okay. So sometimes in the exam you may be asked in 1 mark a question that define the random variable of t distribution. So this is the random variable of t distribution. Basically it is also called one of the limiting distribution. Again the use would be much in my statistical test, and when I am using the CLT, central limit theorem, I am limiting my distribution to something, then I use t distribution. Clear? Now we again have tables book value for this. So let us check where we are given the tables book values. Below the standard normal distribution you can see the percentage point for my t distribution. Now can you look at the graph or you look at the integral, tell me, am I calculating greater than values or am I calculating less than values? quickly give me in the chat box, am I getting greater than values or less than values? Come on, tell me. Look at the graph and tell me, am I calculating greater than values or less than values here? Why less than? Look, my shaded portion is this, and here x will take greater values, so I am calculating greater than percentage points. Okay, this portion is showing my less than percentage, but this is not shaded at all, right? So that's why I am calculating greater than values. If I talk about this integral, my integral is from x to infinity, right? So there is no upper limit. When there is no upper limit, I am calculating my greater than percentage points. Okay guys? So these are my percentage points given to me. Now look, these are my probability values, these are my degrees of freedom, and these are basically my x values. Okay? Let me write a question and you will be calculating this. So first you have to calculate probability T15 is less than 1.341. Second you will be calculating T8 is greater than A is equal to 0.01. Third, P24 is less than minus 0.5314. First part, let me help you calculate T15 less than 1.341. First tell me, I have less than values or greater than values? I have greater than values, but the question is asking me to calculate something less than format. So I will convert my less than format into greater than format. How do I do it? I subtract this from total probability, that is 1. So I can write, I need to calculate 1 minus probability T15 greater than 1.341. Now I need to calculate this from my tables book. So T15, let me check, my new is 15. So I will look at this row. Okay, what is my x value? This is my x value. So this x value is 1.341. I will locate my 1.341 from this tables. So here it is. So I will check out this column. Okay, what is the percentage value at this column? It's 10%. So I will write here 10%. So I am getting 90%. Okay, so the final answer for this question is 90%. Is this clear? How did we find the tables book value? Now similarly try finding the second and third part. I am giving you 1 minute. Here you have been asked to calculate the x value, you are given the degrees of freedom, you are given the percentage point. This is called 1%, okay? And we have already been given greater than, so we do not need to convert it into less than values because table book give us greater than value only in this t distribution. So try finding the answer. Quickly tell me. Question is probability T8 is greater than A is equal to 1%. Tell me the answer. First you have to find out what is my new, that is 8. So new 8, I will look into this row. This row, clear? Then I need to calculate at 1%. So what is 1%? This column is 1%. I want the x value. So these are basically my x value. So what is the intersection? 2.896. So I can say my A is 2.896 because probability T8 greater than 2.896 is basically my 0.01. Clear? How do we get this? Okay. Coming to third part, my third part says T24 is less than minus this. Okay. I do not have any negative x here, but I told you one property that my T distribution is also symmetrical around 0. So, in the standard normal distribution we understood that this less than minus 0.5314 will be equal to probability T24 is greater than 0.5314. Now, simply calculate this value from the tables book. So, at T24 I need to calculate. So, let us check it to T24. I want 5314. So, I have 5314 here. So, I need to check this second column. What is the percentage point in second column? It is 30%. So, my answer is 30%. Here I do not need to subtract 1 y because already I need to calculate the greater than percentage point. Is this okay guys? I am giving you 20 seconds, wrap everything up till now and then we will move forward with the next distribution, okay? Any doubt till now? Hit me in the chat box and I will solve that doubt. Come on. But just digest everything we have done till now. We have done two distributions, log normal and T distribution. Digest that and then we will move forward with the F distribution. Okay, since I can see no doubt in the chat box, I am assuming it is clear to everyone. So, shall we move forward to our F distribution? So, note down the heading F distribution. The last distribution of our chapter, okay. Now, F distribution, whenever there are two samples involved, I will use my F distribution, okay. Until now, however distribution we have used T distribution chi-square, we were only talking about one sample. But at the F distribution, we will be talking about two samples, okay. When I say two samples, each sample may have some size, okay. Sample 1 having for example 50 members, sample 2 having for example 60 members, okay. Sample does not mean one person, it may mean one person, but it is not necessary that it always contain one person only, okay. So, again let us first check what is the random variable defined as. Its random variable, if I take it as I have one random variable x defined as chi-square n1, I have another random variable y as chi-square n2, I define some another random variable as for example f. This is equal to x by n1, y by n2. This will follow my F distribution with parameters n1, n2. Okay, again repeating, if there is a random variable x following my chi-square n1, if there is a random variable following y following chi-square n2, then I can define my random variable f as x divided by its degrees of freedom, y divided by its degrees of freedom. This will follow my F distribution with parameters n1 and n2, where n1 and n2 are basically the degrees of freedom of my random variable x and random variable y. Okay. it's done, there is one very crucial property of my F distribution is that, for example, I need to calculate the probability of F A comma B which is less than C. So, can I write probability 1 upon F A comma B is greater than 1 upon C, right? This is the basic of my inequality. If I am taking reciprocal of both the things, for example 2 and 3, 2 is less than 3, if I take 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 2 will be greater than 1 by 3, right? So, in the same way I can write this. Similarly, this I can, now if this is a reciprocal, I will change the order of my parameters, it will become B comma A. Okay. Similarly, if I write FAB is greater than C, so it will basically become 1 upon FA comma B is less than C, basically it will become FB comma A is less than 1 by C. So, these are two properties, do not memorize it, think that we can change the order if we are changing the sign and reciprocate the right hand side. Okay. We can change the order of F distribution parameters only if we are changing the sign, less than sign into greater than sign into less than sign, and if we are reciprocating my right hand side value. Now, let us see how my table book values looks like for my F distribution. So, now tell me which type of value I have been given, less than value or greater than value? Less than or greater than value? Quickly in the chat box, okay, someone is saying greater than. Yes, greater than values, good, because my shaded region is greater than, again my integral limits are x to infinity. Okay. Now, you can see in this I have been given for each percentage value there are certain percentages. For example, this table book is for only 10%, this page is only for 5%. Okay. Similarly, for 2.5%, for 1%, okay, these 4 rates are given. Now, for example, I have to check, let us write the first part, write the question, I have to check P F5 comma 12 is less than 3.106. Second is you have to find P F7 comma 4 is greater than A is equal to 1%. So, let us think of our first answer only. So, I have been asked to calculate 5 comma 12, okay. So, I will check at each percentage value when my this 3.106. Now, can you see it is less than, but I want the greater than. So, first I will convert my 5 comma 12 less than 1306, it will be equal to 1 minus probability F5 comma 12 greater than 3.106. Okay. So, I will check out this value once, 5 comma 12, I will check at 10% also, I will check at 1% also, 2.5% also, and the last was 5% also. Okay, at which stage I am getting this 3.106, I will be satisfied with that percentage point. So, 5 comma 12, 5 is my new 1. So, new 1 is this row. So, I am checking this column. 12 is my new 2. So, I will be checking this row. So, here the value is 2.394, but my value I want is 3.106. So, I will shift to 5%. Again, I will check 5. I will check 12. So, you can see here we got 3.106, it means my percentage point is basically 5%. So, I get this is 1 minus 0.05, so 0.9. Now, calculate this. This is pretty simple. Give me the answer for this. What will be my A coming out to be? to check at 1%. Yes, first 7, second 4. So 7, 4. My value is 14.98. So that's why my A belongs to 14.98. Pretty simple, guys. If this is done, take 20 seconds of your time. Yes, very good. If this is done, take 20 seconds of your time, go through all the distributions because we are done with the distribution. If you have any doubt in any distribution, ask me. Then we will move forward to our one small topic, that is inverse transformation method. Asked in your exam, this is also asked in your exam, that's why we will complete that topic as well. Any conceptual doubt in any of the distribution? Okay, so first we will talk about what is simulation exactly. Okay, what is simulation? Simulation is basically, if I say we are rolling a die, what can be my outcomes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So simulation is something I am constantly throwing the dice for numerous number of times. So I will be getting something, sometimes I will getting 1, then I will getting 3, I will get 4, 2, then again 1, I can get 6, okay? So I can do this a various number of times, so these are called my simulations, okay? So one method of doing simulation is Monte Carlo simulation, in which the size of my simulation is very high, right? We have discussed this Monte Carlo simulation in our first chapter. There is another method which is called my inverse transformation method. This can't be done manually, this can be done manually. That's why we prefer this, because it involves a lot of time and lot of cost, and sometimes when it's not worthy to spend that much cost and that much time, we use inverse transformation to get our instant answers. But obviously accuracy is more in this, a little less in this. So let's do inverse transformation method. We know that my fx is defined as probability x is less than or equal to x, right? Is it clear? So I define something as x is equal to f inverse u. I define this as f inverse u, where my u follows, u is a number from uniform 0, 1 distribution. Look, I can say this is a probability value, this will be a probability value. So this will be lying between what interval? What will be the range of this outcome? What will be the range of my right hand side? Probability values ranges lie from which to which? Tell me. This is basically going to give me a probability value. What is the range of my probability value? Guys, what is the range of my probability value? Exactly, it cannot be less than 0 and it cannot be more than 1. So its range lie between 0 and 1. So I will determine this as u, because my random variable of uniform 0, 1. It means my ranges are lying between 0 and 1. So my u will come out from my random variable uniform 0, 1. So I can write my fx is equal to u. If I take inverse of my function, my f inverse u is equal to x. Clear? So this is called my inverse transformation method. For example, let me tell you an example. We have to generate a random variable from exponential distribution with parameter lambda. So, my fx, capital Fx, CDF of my exponential distribution is defined as 1 minus e raised to the power minus lambda x, right. What I do is, I define x is equal to f inverse u. I just put this is equal to yes, this is equal to u. So, I just derive my values of x with respect to this u. So, 1 minus e raised to the power minus lambda x is equal to u, 1 minus u is equal to e raised to the power minus lambda x. Okay. Taking log both sides, right. Now, I want x value, so I will just divide this simple thing. So, I can say it will become so this is my simulation. Now, if I can take any random variable of any random number from 0 to 1 as this, and I have my parameter lambda, I can get my values for x. So, this is called my simulation of values. Clear, guys? Now, what is the disadvantage of this method? Why can't it be used? So, if we have manual method, then why are we spending a lot of cost and lot of time on my Monte Carlo simulation? It's because for this, here the exponential distribution CDF was very easy to be defined, right. But in most of the cases, for example, binomial distribution, Poisson distribution, or I say take normal distribution, log normal distribution, the CDF is not defined. I have to integrate it throughout the range, and which is not feasible to be used, right. That is why it is one of the disadvantage of my inverse transformation method, is that we need an explicitly defined CDF. We need an explicitly defined CDF. Now, do a question. Use this condition only. You have to simulate 3 values from exponential 0, 1 distribution using u is equal to 0.113, 0.608, 0.003. So, these are 3 random numbers given from uniform 0, 1 distribution. You can see no number is greater than 1, no number is less than 0. So, you will put once you will put lambda as 0.1, u as 0.113, and you give me a value of x. Similarly for second value, similarly for third value. Quickly, I want answers from everyone. This is basic calculation, okay? Come on, tell me. I got the values, so just I am telling one how to get one of these. So minus 1 upon 0.1 into I have log of 1 minus u. So log of 1 minus 0.113. I put in my calculator what I am getting, minus 1 upon 0.1 brackets log of 1 minus 0.113. So I am getting 1, just a second. Yes, so I am getting 1.19910, which is similar to 1.2. Okay, similarly you can get second and third answer. So second answer is coming out to be 9.36 and third one is coming out to be 0.03. So this was inverse transformation method. So with that we have completed all the portion in our class. We have also done the thinning of Poisson process, right? Waiting time distribution, which is my exponential distribution. I have also done this inverse transformation method. So apart from a discrete distribution and continuous distribution, we also had these three independent topics: inverse transformation method, waiting time distribution. Basically I told you inter-event time, so it is modeled by my exponential distribution, and third one was my Poisson process, thinning of Poisson process. Basically if I have been given lambda is 3 per month and I need to calculate lambda for my daily event, so I just divided by 30 number of days, right? Exponential 0.1 was given to us, right? So what is the parameter of exponential distribution? Lambda only. So I compare this to this, so lambda becomes 0.1. Okay guys, any doubt? Otherwise we will wrap up this class. And quickly tell me any doubt in any of the distribution? Please revise these distribution, go through your tables book, and second and third answer I told you, it is basically 9.36 and 0.003. Okay, just put in the values. Basically you have to change 0.113 because lambda is constant, lambda is every time lambda is 0.1 only, so you just need to put in 0.608 and 0.003 in spite of 0.113. Clear guys? So let's wrap up the class for today. Please practice these distributions as much as possible. It's called student's T distribution sometime. Okay guys.